In the midst of World War II, Italy was invaded by Nazi Germany, and the Allied forces made many attempts to liberate the country of Italy. According to various accounts, intelligence reported a cache of German munitions near San Giovanni Rotondo, the town in which stood the monastery of St. Padre Pio. But the bombers sent by the United States Air Command were prevented from bombing the town of San Giovanni Rotondo by, according to historical accounts, a flying monk. When the townspeople were asked to leave, informing Padre Pio about the bombing, he said to them, "Do not leave, the town will not be bombed." For a bit of context, St. Padre Pio, according to Father Crisalar, a priest with the Marian Fathers of the Immaculate Conception, St. Pio is to be considered among the greatest saints of our times. Padre Pio was a stigmatist for over 50 years, meaning he bore the wounds of Christ. Each day, he would lose over 1 cup of blood, but the wounds never became infected. When Padre Pio was only 5 years old, he could see and speak to Jesus, Mary, and his guardian angel. He had the ability to levitate and bilocate, which is the supernatural ability to be in 2 places at the same time. He performed many miracles and even knew the sins that his confessors were hiding during confession. The following is some testimony of Padre Pio's supernatural abilities.
He was usually disarmingly simple and direct. Nothing could be more to the point than "change your life," or to someone who questioned the very existence of hell, "You will believe it when you get there." He was capable, though, of remarkable insight, and there are many reports of his ability to read people's minds and their hearts, to know details of their lives and circumstances that he could not possibly even guess. Once, a woman was very surprised to be told that her penance, usually a prayer to be said in atonement for sin, was to go home and look in the well in her garden. As she did so, she saw the face of the son she had had aborted many years before. Joe Greco, now a great devotee of Padre Pio, met him in very unusual circumstances. After a dream in which he met Padre Pio on the road and asked him to save his father, Joe Greco's father suddenly recovered from a dangerous operation. Joe decided to go to San Giovanni to thank Padre Pio in person. He managed to get to confession after waiting 4 days.
This is what did it, really. When he saw me, he said, "Well, your father's all right then." Well, this shattered me, really, because I'd never been down in San Giovanni Rotondo before. I'd never been down that part of the world. Neither did I know anyone down there. And yet, I posed in my mind a question to him. I was saying, "Was it you? Was it you?" And he replied, "In the dream. In the dream." Well, I started shaking. I was scared stiff, to tell you the truth. I said, "Yes, Father, in the dream, Father." I told him my sins, and he gave me before he gave me absolution, he said to me, "Now then, there is something else, you know." I says, "Well, Father," I said, "I can't remember anything else."
And Padre Pio went on to describe an incident with a girl in the park when he was first in the army.
Well, it all came back to me. I wished the ground had have opened up and swallowed me up. I was so embarrassed. Oh dear. I said, "Yes, Father, it all comes back to me, and I'm afraid I forgot to tell it in confession. So ashamed." Well, he said, "You've been carrying this sin around with you," he says, "ever since 1941. And the place was black-burned, to tell you the truth." And I got up to go. Padre Pio said, "There is something else you've forgotten." And there was a slight smile on his face. I said, "Oh, no, Father. Truly, there's nothing else that I can remember." I thought he was on about a sin, you know. And he said, "Look in your pocket." So I brought my rosary beads out, I gave them to him, he blessed them, and he gave them back to me. And that was it.
Many would wait in line, weeks, to meet Padre Pio in the confessional. He was renowned for reading souls and was a great miracle worker, including many accounts of bilocation and even flying. As the historical account goes, the bombers began their journey from Puglia to San Giovanni Rotondo and were stopped mid-air by a monk who was flying right in front of their planes, with his arms extended out and his hands open and facing them. The Allied pilots, who were from many different nationalities and faiths, kept returning to base with the news that they did not complete their mission because a flying monk in the air kept preventing them from bombing the city. In fact, none of the Allied planes sent to bomb San Giovanni Rotondo were able to complete their mission successfully. There were often mysterious malfunctions, causing the bombs to drop harmlessly in the fields, or mechanical failures that caused the planes to veer off course. The following is the testimony of United States Air Force Commanding General Nathan Neft Whining. Stationed at the base was General Nathan Whining, and upon hearing these bizarre reports of a flying monk, he decided to lead the bombing squad himself to see what was going on. He couldn't believe that there was a monk who was flying in the air and that the stories the pilots were telling about their bomb bay doors refusing to open, or their bombs falling harmlessly to the ground and not exploding were true, let alone the even crazier reports that planes were being turned around in midair by the flying monk. He didn't believe the pilots, and he thought that they were seeing things. He decided to launch another bombing raid. So he got into one of the bombers, and they all took off for San Giovanni Rotondo to hit their target. He reported that as they neared the monastery in San Giovanni Rotondo, a monk appeared in the clouds right in front of his plane, and that he was flying at the same speed that he was. He reported that the monk had his hands extended, and immediately, all the bombers' bomb bay doors were opened. The bombs fell harmlessly into the open fields below, and their planes turned around by themselves. They aborted the mission and returned to Bari, where he filed his own incredible eyewitness account. After the war, General Twining went to San Giovanni Rotondo, and as he walked up the steps to the monastery, he found himself standing right in front of Padre Pio, who humorously quipped, "So you are the one that wanted to destroy everything." He became good friends with Padre Pio. While the accounts might appear to be fictitious tales, what is true is that San Giovanni Rotondo was spared during World War II, and multiple pilots reported seeing a flying monk in the sky over the spot where they were ordered to unload bombs. For more proof that Christ exists, please subscribe to our channel, and please hit the like button. It helps us with the YouTube algorithm and costs nothing.